All right, here we are again. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you on this Saturday night. Gather around, let's talk weather because there's still plenty to talk about. It's 7/16. It's the last night of January. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. Who is sick of the snow? Because I am. I know a lot of you aren't. I know a lot of you still love it. But there comes a point when you're just ready for it to, go away, right? But that will not be the case anytime soon. We've got a very unsettled pattern still lying ahead. Some modest warm-ups, not a ton, but some. And we do have a new alert day to talk about for Tuesday. So plenty to discuss on this Saturday night, but we are going to start off with the snow showers we're seeing now and what we've seen basically all day, right? And we're still seeing those snow showers tonight right over the metro. So we'll zoom in tighter and show you this, what I think will be one of the last patches of snow showers that we're tracking tonight. And it's a decent little burst of snow just skirting by West Louisville. So Valley Station, PRP, Shively, you're seeing those slightly heavier snowfall rates right now, more snow showers instead of flurries. More of the same up across Harrison County, Lanesville, Corden. Same story. Georgetown, too. Perhaps a few flurries flying out near J-Town and Middletown. More flurries up near LaGrange. And maybe a few flakes right there on the Bullitt-Spencer County line. Now, most of the day today, it's kind of had, I've said all day, it's kind of like that snow globe effect where these dry, fluffy flakes are just kind of floating around with that wind. But over the last few hours, we've had these steadier bands of snow that have started to roll through, and they have put down some accumulations in a few spots. We said earlier today, we were thinking around mostly a dusting, perhaps a little coating, but as much as a half inch. There's been a few reports out towards Lexington with the snow bands they're seeing of about 2 to 3/10 of an inch of snow. The Weather Service office in South Louisville, which is right about here, if you can see that yellow dot I'm drawing, they had a snow band move through around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, picked up a quick 2/10 of an inch. So there have been some light accumulations, but thankfully the roads have held up pretty well. And I do expect that trend to continue as the night goes on. So here's the home view again. You can see the steadier snow showers are off to our west, out towards Vincennes, Indiana, Evansville. Du Bois County, you guys might be getting clipped by those snow showers a little bit. But this is kind of a backlash, whiplash, whatever you want to call it, on the backside of this Carolina snowstorm that has been going on all day and is going to be one for the record books. Look at this thing. Man, oh man, oh man. We still have winter storm warnings for both Carolinas, north and south. Heavy snow continues to fall, especially in the eastern parts of the two states. Check out that heavier band. That's near Greenville, North Carolina, right there. Home of the East Carolina Pirates. You can tell I watch college sports. But those along the coast, Outer Banks, Wilmington, North Carolina, the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach, they could be looking at 6 to 10 inches of snow when this is all said and done. Crazy, right? Further to the west, out near Charlotte, Greenville, South Carolina, same story, 6 to 8 inches. The middle part of North Carolina near Raleigh, probably looking at about 3 to 6 when all is said and done. So this is a blockbuster snowstorm for our friends in the Carolinas. And you kind of see at the top of the map, I'll scoot the map over. Obviously, the low is circling like so off the Atlantic coast. And you're kind of getting that backlash effect with some of that moisture still nearby here in wave country. And that moisture has partially been coming from the Great Lakes today, mainly from Lake Michigan earlier, but you kind of see how these snow showers are curving northeast back to the southeast. So they're kind of turning left. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of this moisture now is coming from Lake Erie, which is fascinating. Arctic air always overperforms when it comes to these lower end snow setups. They always find a way to get you 10th, 2/10, 3/10 of an inch of snow on top of what you've already had. And that has certainly been the case today and tonight. But these snow showers are going to start winding down here over the next little bit. I'd say by about 9 or 10 o'clock, most of these are gone, or at least just fading away. And that'll keep things dry overnight tonight. Live look at downtown from Jeffersonville. You can't see it, obviously, now that it's dark, but we still have ice floating down the Ohio River. It's not going to freeze solid, but doesn't happen very often when you get ice flowing down the Ohio, at least around here. Current temperature in Louisville is 17. It feels like 8. Tired of it. Tired of the cold. But as we go through the overnight hours tonight, we'll dip back into the single digits once again. And there will be some dangerous cold wind chills again. Not everywhere. We'll explain in a second. But here's a general view of the temperatures. I'm not going to waste time explaining this too much, but you get the idea. We're all in the teens right now. And we're going to drop into the single digits tonight. I've got a low of 6 above 0 here in Louisville. The flurries will continue to fade over the next 2 to 3 hours. And we're looking pretty dry overnight tonight. So 6 above is our forecast actual temperature. But some of us could have dangerous cold again. It's not going to be widespread wind chills below 0 like we had this morning. That's why we had the alert day this morning. It wasn't for the snow. It was for the cold. I think here in Louisville, that wind chill bottomed out at 7 below. And we had some wind chills as low as 9 or 10 below 0. So that was the issue this morning. But you do notice parts of Wave Country are under a cold weather advisory again, basically northeast of Louisville. So Jennings County in Indiana, Carroll, Trimble, Oldham, Henry, Shelby, Franklin counties in Kentucky, in our neck of the woods, are under a cold weather advisory from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And that is where we would likely see those wind chills drop below 0 if we do see those in the morning. You see this Futurecast does a nice job showing 2 below 0 tomorrow morning up in LaGrange, Madison, 4 below 0 up in Seymour, perhaps, Shelbyville. That's where we'll see the sub-zero wind chills in the morning. It's not as widespread as it was this morning. So that's why we don't have an alert day for tomorrow morning. Alert day or not, positive, negative, it's still going to be really cold. So if you got to head out early tomorrow morning, if your place of worship is still having services Sunday morning, be very, very careful. Dress in layers and just limit your time outside, especially early on in the day tomorrow. Any indoor plans would be a good idea. Maybe you're going to go see the squirrel on jet skis at the Boat RV and Sports Show at the Expo Center. This graphic cracks me up every year. I love it. We'll start off cold, obviously. I got a 10% chance early in the day for maybe a few flakes. Not sold on it, but there's some high-resolution models that want to squeeze out a couple of flakes as we go through the day or the early morning hours tomorrow. Shouldn't be a big deal. Otherwise, it's a quiet day and it's a cold day with highs in the mid-20s. But the mid-20s are better than the teens. So there's that. All right. This is what y'all are here for, right? Here's the updated snow map, or the snow list, I should say. That's not a map, that's a list. Tonight, the snow showers are winding down. Not really adding up to much. Monday morning, we're still watching a weak wave that's going to scoot through here, very similar to today. It's not going to have a ton of moisture with it, but there may be just enough for flurries or maybe light snow showers. What's a tiny bit more of a concern tomorrow or Monday morning would be the fact that they're moving in Monday morning, are those flurries and snow showers. So we'll just kind of have to make sure that those don't cause any issues for the morning rush. I don't think they will, but we'll watch it. Nothing more than a dusting or coating again on Monday like we had today. Tuesday's the next big one to watch. I went ahead and flagged Tuesday as a wave weather alert day because my confidence is going up that we're going to see some type of winter weather again on Tuesday. Not a winter storm at this stage of the game. A quick hitting system. It's not going to be here for 48 hours like that big winter storm last weekend. But it will be here long enough to give some of us that opportunity for another round of accumulating snow on top of what we've already got. So we're going to put the alert day flag up for Tuesday. But you notice it's a rain snow mix. So that temperature profile is back in the picture once again, as far as who's going to see mainly snow, who's going to see mainly rain, and who could see a little bit of both. And that obviously affects how much accumulations we have. So that's where we stand for Tuesday. We're going to talk more about that here in a second. And then next Friday, also still that wintry mix chance in play. I'll tell you, Friday's still trending a little bit warmer bit by bit. So it would likely start as a rain with maybe a few flakes mixing in and then winding down to flakes as we head into Friday night. That does not look like a major issue at this point. The main focus is what's on the way Tuesday. So we'll sit on that for a moment. And I'll go to the comments because I know a lot of y'all are here and want to talk weather, right? Hi, Nathan. Hardin County schools close Monday so teachers can get more NTI assignments. I saw that. That was, it's an interesting strategy, but it might be a smart strategy. We're going to have more opportunities to get above freezing next week. By above freezing, I mean like mid-30s, so it's still cold. So that might allow for some melting. But guys, I mean, this snow and sleet's been just getting more and more compacted for a week now. So it's going to take a long time to get all this mess out of here. So I would not be surprised, especially if areas outside of the metro are still dealing with bad side roads, that we have more NTI as we head into this upcoming week, especially if Tuesday's system winds up featuring more snow, which is very possible. Hi, DJ King. Hope you're good up there in Jennings County. Braden, hello. Wavy's busy tonight. Of course, he's quiet now, but he's been sending me and you a lot of snow reports this evening with these snow bands rolling through. Anita, I'm trying to get rid of the snow. I know Brian still loves it. I'm over it. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for summer, and I hate summer. You guys know how much I hate summer, and I'm ready for it. What does that tell you? Hello, Wizard of Night. Hope you're well. That's right, Weather Geek. National Weather Person Day is February 5th, which is what, Thursday? So appreciate that. Except the groundhog, if he sees his shadow. That's right, Groundhog Day is Monday. That is very, very true. Hi, Shonda. Hope you're well. Sick of the cold. Stacy, sick of the snow. DJ King wants more. Blue's here. Alicia's got about a 1/4 inch of fresh snow down in Mount Washington. Appreciate that report, Alicia. That adds up. We mentioned the Weather Service office there off Smyrna Parkway had about 2/10 of an inch of snow earlier with a band that rolled through. So that lines up. Mount Washington not too terribly far away from there. So thanks for that. Sandy's over the snow. Stephanie wants more big snow. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are great. This is truly 50-50 going through these comments. Margaret's tired of the snow. Nikki, hello. Surprised to see the grocery store still struggling to keep up. Well, that could be a supply chain deal. None of these systems you see on the list here would be enough to run and go get the milk and bread. Which, why do we do that? But anyway. So it might just be the fact that some of these delivery trucks can't make it across the country with all these different storms we've been dealing with. So I can see why it might be a problem. Let's see. Melanie up in North Vernon had some snow throughout the day. Appreciate the report, Melanie. Americus, no more snow. Sick of it. Debbie wants more snow. Bots. Let's see. Braden's up out over in Georgetown, Kentucky. They're just north of Lexington. They had a little band roll through there. Yeah, 1/4, 3/10 of an inch of snow down that way. Angela, yep, it was like being in a snow globe today. And that's kind of what I was really hammering on TV today. It's like, hey, the roads will probably be fine by and large, but it's just going to look like a snow globe throughout the day. And sure enough, it did. A few more comments, and then we'll talk about Tuesday, I promise. Hello, Kat. Are we going to get snow like the first time? Are you? I'm guessing you're referring to like big snow. I don't see anything like that anytime soon. We'll have these opportunities for some accumulations, but not anything 6+ inches anytime soon when it comes to snow totals. Shonda, yep. My race fans in the chat disappointed. The opening race of the season got postponed. It was supposed to be tomorrow night, but they're in North Carolina. You know how that's going. They can't get anywhere right now. They're going to try to run that race Monday, but we'll see. We'll see. Angela's got Angela's son, I should say, is in Charlotte. I said a few minutes ago, they've got 8 inches of snow on the ground in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been to Charlotte. That'll shut down that city for days. Wow. There's going to be a one to remember for our friends down in the Carolinas for sure. Let's see. All right. So we'll pause there and we'll talk about Tuesday, shall we? Because that is a new wave weather alert day that is now up. It is going to be a wintry mix on Tuesday. Now, this is a very different wintry mix than what we had last weekend, in the sense that we do not have much of a warm nose to contend with in the higher levels of the atmosphere. We all know that warm nose ruined everything for those of you south of the Ohio River last weekend, right? Cut down on those snow totals because we had so much more sleet than what we were expecting. Straight up. Like we thought that warm nose would stay a little further south, and it came a little too far north. And that really cut down those snow totals across Kentucky. This go round is not that way. It's a very uniform temperature column on either side of this system that'll be rolling through on Tuesday. If you're on the warm side of this system Tuesday, you are going to see virtually all rain, a cold rain at that. If you're on the cold side of this system, you're going to see mostly, if not totally, snow. That transition line, that battle line will be incredibly narrow, and there won't be much sleet or freezing rain in that battle zone, in that transition zone. It would just be a mix of flakes and raindrops. Okay, so it's literally northern half of the area is going to get mainly snow out of this. The southern half is going to get mainly rain, at least as it stands for right now. So those of you further south, you're not going to see much snow on Tuesday, okay? You might see some as that colder air moves in Tuesday night. That's it. You're not going to get the big snow totals out of this. You're not going to be the winners with snow totals because you're going to be dealing with mainly rain through this event. Further north you are, the better chance you have to see all snow on Tuesday, and the better chance you have for at least some accumulations. Does not right now look like a winter storm, but as the system is zipping by, there's at least going to be a window of opportunity for a quick couple inches of snow, it looks like, especially north of I-64. Obviously, you get a new inch or two of snow. That's going to cause new slick spots. And as that snow is falling, it could drop visibility. So we're being very cautious here, once again, with this alert day for Tuesday, mainly for the northern half of wave country. Excuse me. So north of 64, generally speaking. Show you what I mean in a map form. This is not a snowfall forecast. I've got a map drawn up, but I'm not ready to show it to you yet. We'll do that tomorrow night. Okay. I'll promise you that. I got one drawn up, but it's a rough draft. I got to do some editing. So this is kind of the general idea of where things stand at this point. Most of you north of I-64 on Tuesday will see mostly snow. And that obviously is where we will likely see the highest accumulations. But again, it's not going to be a ton, all right? We're not looking at 12 inches of snow. We're not looking at 16 inches of snow here. This will be an advisory level snow burst, right? I do think some of us will go under a winter weather advisory. So mainly those of you north of 64 will have the best shot to stay in snow through this entire episode on Tuesday. The further south you are, especially south of the Kentucky Parkways, the more likely you'll stay mostly rain on Tuesday. Not freezing rain, not sleet, a cold rain. Yippee. So Columbia, Campbellsville, Mumfordville, sorry. You might get some flurries at the tail end of this system, but more than anything else, you're going to see rain. And obviously, somewhere in between, a tradition unlike any other, there will be a battle zone between the snow to the north and the rain to the south. Now, that pink area is going to actually be super, super narrow. It's not going to be 20 miles wide. It's going to be like 2 miles wide. So why did I draw it this way on the map? Well, that's because I want to give you a general idea of where that battle line could set up, right? That battle line could set up, based on the data that I've seen today, could set up as far north as Interstate 64, where you got snow north of 64 and rain south, or in a colder setup, that rain snow line may stay further south. So those of you in Bardstown, E-Town, Hardinsburg may have more snow than rain. And then the cold rain would stay even further to the south. That's a colder idea. So this is the cold idea. I'm not going to draw that out. This is the colder idea further south. The northern idea would be more rain in Kentucky, more snow in Indiana. There is also another scenario here to where this low pressure decides to go way to our north by 25, 30 miles, and that leaves us with all rain. Everybody sees a cold rain. But right now, this is kind of a good middle ground, we'll call it. Okay? So if you're up near Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon, all my Jennings County friends, Madison, Scottsburg, Salem, Paoli, Jasper, you're going to likely stay, for now, as mostly snow on Tuesday. Along I-64, Corydon, Louisville, Shelbyville, Frankfort, you guys, if we kind of have that band set up right over I-64, would see that mix of rain and snow. And that would obviously cut down on those snow totals. And further to the south, Hardinsburg, E-Town, Bardstown, southward, you may get a couple flakes mix in, especially along the parkways. But the further south you go, the more likely you'll stay as all rain through much of this event. So that pink zone is going to get much narrower over the next 24 hours. Once we get more confident as to where that pink zone is going to set up, where that rain snow line will be. I think that rain snow line could be as far north as Louisville, or it could be as far south as Litchfield. That's why I drew it that wide. Okay. It could be anywhere in that pink area. We just got to figure out where. And that'll decide who sees mainly snow. And that'll decide who mainly sees rain. So that's for Tuesday. And I hope that made sense. I know I rambled there. I apologize. So here's Futurecast. This is noon on Tuesday. This is the European model. And remember, we've got two pieces of energy kind of scooting by. So this may start off initially as a band of lighter snow north of 64 around lunchtime Tuesday. But as that southern piece and the low pressure joins that northern piece, then you see the radar start to fill in with more of that mix between Louisville and E-Town, and then a cold rain south of E-Town. So again, the further south you are, the more rain you will see, the much less snow you will see. Whereas further to the north, it'll be the opposite. More snow, less rain. But it's a quick hitting system. There were some indications this might linger into Wednesday. Not totally sold on that anymore. You notice Tuesday evening, we start to see this system slide eastward. I wouldn't be shocked on the backside of this system as cold air moves in Tuesday night if those raindrops would actually be snowflakes. So if you're down near Litchfield or Campbellsville or Mumfordville, you might get some flurries at the tail end of this system. It's just not going to amount to anything. But as we get late Tuesday night, this thing's long gone. It's into the Virginias and Carolinas. And Wednesday looks pretty dry at this point. So again, this is a quick hitter. It's not going to last all days on end. But we'll keep the alert day flag up for now because based on what I've seen today, I think somebody in our area is going to get an inch or two of snow out of this. And that's enough to cause new issues on the roads. All right. Whoops, I got the wrong 10-day up. Hang on. I got the morning 10-day up. Let me get the evening one up for you. And there you go. All right, so here's the 10-day. The only alert day we have for now is Tuesday. And you know what? If we look over more data in the next day or two, and it looks even warmer to where we may just see mainly rain, or we don't see an inch of snow, we see like maybe a coating, then we'll get rid of the alert day. But the trends have been consistent now for a bit to where those of you over the northern half of the area could get a good little accumulation out of this on Tuesday. So we'll keep the alert day up. The rest of the week has some temperature ups and downs. We've got another wave to watch on Friday, but look at that high temperature, 39. It'll be a heat wave. It'll be a heat wave. But as a clipper moves in Friday during the day, you notice it starts off as a wintry mix, and it could end as a few flakes Friday night as that colder air starts to rush back in. Right now, this system looks as though it will stay largely northeast of us, so we wouldn't get a ton of accumulations. It's something we'll watch. But right now, it looks to be mainly a wintry mix that transitions to a few flurries Friday night. All right. As far as when we can get above freezing, well, Monday looks better. Even with those flurries Monday morning, there's a better chance that we could get to 32 or even 33 here in Louisville, maybe 34 or 35 further south. Tuesday, it will all come down to exactly where that warmer air stops. If that warmer air stays further south, then obviously we'll be in the upper 20s instead of the mid 30s. If we get more of that warmer air move in, we'll be even warmer than that forecast high of 34. So that's what we're still trying to nail down for Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday will be colder. Behind that Tuesday system, we get another shot of cold air. Not as bitterly cold as what we've been dealing with, but most of us will still be in the 20s Wednesday and Thursday. The Friday system comes in, it warms us up, or before that Friday system moves in, we warm up. And then we drop back down to the 20s next Saturday. And it looks as though as we go after the Super Bowl, that we start to level out those temperatures just a bit. We're still being conservative here, saying highs in the 30s into next week, into the week after the Super Bowl, I should say. But there are some models suggesting the more sustained 40s, maybe even 1 or 2 days near 50. I don't believe that at all, but there could be a few more days as we go between Super Bowl and Valentine's Day where we're in the 40s. Fingers crossed, right? That's where we are, my friends. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, critiques, let me know. Fire them away. Let's go. Michelle, are you seeing a change in pattern anytime soon? Not through at least Valentine's Day. Brian's been hammering hard, as you guys know, if you watch Snow Talk. Valentine's Day weekend, got to watch it. And yes, there's going to be a system moving through Valentine's Day weekend. We just got to figure out what's coming with it. But yeah, I think this pattern stays rather busy. Do I see gigantic winter storms? No. But I see several opportunities for at least some snow. The biggest signal, I should say, is for what's coming up on Tuesday at this point. Yeah, Michelle, I agree. There's a lot of great things that happen this summer. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like the heat. I don't like heat. I'd rather be cold than hot. Let's see. And you're right. Spring's not so bad either. That's true. Let's see. Vehicles covered in Lagudi, Indiana. Yeah, that sounds about right. Thanks for that report, Darshell. You guys have been dealing with more of those snow bands than even areas closer to the Ohio River have been today. So that makes total sense. Nikki, will we finally get back to school in Jefferson County? Well, as we always say, or as I always say, I'm not going to guess as to what any school district does. What I will say is there's more opportunities to get above freezing over the next week, but there's no huge warm up in sight. So that's kind of that's what all these school districts are going to have to weigh in the days to come. Not to mention the fact that we may get, some of you are going to maybe get another inch or two of snow as we head into Tuesday. So yeah, this would be a really long stretch of days out of the classroom. I never had more than a week out when I was in JCPS, so that would be something new for sure if they went longer than a week. Let's see. Gene, what's the groundhog going to say? I don't know. My gut feeling is he'll say 6 more weeks of winter, just the way things have gone. But we'll find out Monday morning, won't we? We'll find out. 36 hours away. It's usually around 7 a.m. So 7 a.m. Monday morning, we'll know. Stephanie, about Tuesday system, can it still drop south? Yes, it absolutely could. But I will say that push of warmer air, it's pretty strong. That's why we don't really have to worry about sleet or freezing rain. It's literally going to be snow here, rain there. So that warm push is going to be rather strong. Is it strong enough to push all this stuff north? Not so sure about that. But it will be strong enough to give us kind of that split view that you see here on Futurecast of snow mainly north and rain mainly south. So could it drop south and give you guys down in southern Kentucky more snow? I just don't see that at this point. But we'll see. We'll watch the trends. That's our job. Let's see. Tina's watching us in Palmyra. Would love for Tuesday to be nothing but rain. Nothing but rain. Timing on Tuesday, Nikki asked. This looks mainly midday into the afternoon on Tuesday. Midday, afternoon, evening. I think Tuesday morning for now looks okay. But we start to see this precipitation, since it's a mix, we'll see this precipitation start to ramp up around lunchtime Tuesday, and it'll go on through the rest of the afternoon and evening. So there we go. Tracy up in Jefferson County, Indiana wants more snow, no rain. All right. Yeah, that's a good point, Ann, especially with even just this little tiny bit of snow we've had today. Any kind of accumulation, it'll want to refreeze, especially on these less traveled roads. You know, a lot of times in these kind of drier snow setups, you get a lot of car traffic and it'll just blow it all away and it doesn't melt and refreeze. These side streets, that's a different story. There's not as much traffic. So anything that sticks will try to freeze up again. So yeah, that's something that's going to have to be watched for sure. Yes, Angela, I agree. Wintry mix is quickly becoming a 4-letter word. Yes. Yes, Anita, 47 days till spring. We're getting there. We are getting there. Yeah, Joshua, that's fair. Forecast is a lot more boring compared to last week. And even then, we still got 3 potential systems to watch, right? There's just no blockbusters that we got coming up, right? All right. Nathan just logged in. We talk about accumulations. Not yet. Not yet. Not ready to show you a snow map just yet. I want to look over more data tonight and tomorrow. But when we're gathered here for our live stream tomorrow night, I will have a snow map for you for Tuesday. Not a huge winter storm at this point, guys. Not a huge winter storm at all. But it will be enough for some of you to have a fresh coating of snow again, especially if you live north of 64. All right. That's all I got for tonight, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Nice to go back to a more even keel weekend. No winter storm shenanigans, right? So that's where we stand for tonight. We'll keep you updated on how Tuesday fares, and even the flurries Monday morning. We'll watch that. We'll watch Friday as well. But Tuesday right now for me is kind of the system that I'm really focused on. So that's where we are at this point. Keep staying warm, guys. It's almost over. We'll get above freezing again sometime this week. Will it be Monday? Will it be Tuesday? Will it not be till Friday? I don't know. But it'll happen at some point this week. So hang in there. The stuff will slowly but surely start to melt. Just might take a while. So there we are. Thanks for stopping by. Stay warm. Have a good night. Have a good Sunday. I'll be back on TV tonight on Wave News at 11 and throughout the day tomorrow. And then we'll be back here on the digital side of things for our nightly chat tomorrow night with that snowfall map for Tuesday. I'll talk to you then. Good night.